Well, typically when in a tornado, you've got some very, very high winds, and what happens is that it's a very compact type of storm. They typically are associated with thunderstorms. They may be in a thunderstorm, but they actually might be out ahead of a thunderstorm, and like what you hear supercell a lot. So those are typically areas that produce tornadoes. And what happens is that the vast majority of people who are injured in a tornado are actually injured by just the flying debris in the air. So some of these winds can be in excess of over 200 miles an hour, some of the strongest tornadoes you'll see in the country. So flying debris is really your main threat. So what we tell people to do is seek shelter and go to the most interior portion of the building, away from windows, lobbies, and doors. And the good thing about Vanderbilt is that most of our buildings are brick and concrete. So once you get to a building and you can move to the inner portion of the building, you've got a good, safe place to go.
There's signage now that was recently done that's spread throughout all of our campus buildings, identifying safe areas in the event of a tornado. Additionally, we have here at the police department a campus emergency operations center, which we staff very early in the game. As soon as we realize from the National Weather Service and the media outlets that we have severe weather coming into our area, we'll staff our emergency operations center and go ahead and monitor that weather situation as it becomes more realistic and looks like we are going to be impacted here at Vanderbilt.
Well, typically what we have here in Davidson County, or what has historically been, is that they have a tornado warning system. And what they do is that they have, right now they have, correct me, I think it's like 96 tornado sirens that are placed around the county. Anytime that the National Weather Service puts out a tornado warning for any part of Davidson County will set off all of their sirens. We actually have a system here at Vanderbilt that's very site specific, and anytime there's a tornado warning specific for Vanderbilt campus, then we put out our own tornado sirens. The tone in Davidson County is now the old air raid siren tone, you know, that's sort of the whale tone that goes up and down. And we are now sort of a steady tone. We try to make them a little bit different so people, when you hear them, you sort of know. So if you hear the whale tone, that's a Metro Davidson County tone. If you hear the steady tone, that's the Vanderbilt tone.
And they need to be very concerned when they do hear that steady tone, because our AccuWeather third-party vendor will basically alert us to alert our sirens if it's within 15 minutes or 3 miles from our campus.
Anytime that we have the potential for severe weather, there's some personal responsibility. The students ought to just take a look, keep an eye on the weather forecast. We typically see the strongest potential for tornadoes are March, April, and May. In the spring, when we're sort of transitioning from out of that cold into the spring months, we get a lot more thunderstorms, we get tornadoes. So I just warn people to be on the lookout. Keep an eye to the weather, and a lot of times, you know, we'll get a heads up warning for severe weather, especially tornadoes. And if you do that, take note and just keep in mind where you are when that weather might hit, and just keep some good shelter areas in case you need to seek them out in the event of a tornado.